It is 7:30. Good evening. Welcome to the joint meeting of the J.V. Fletcher Library Board of Trustees and the Permanent Town Building Committee of Westford. This is June 13th, our posted meeting. As with all of our meetings, if it's a public meeting, so if you were to make comments or enter any commentary into the chat, that becomes part of the public record. With that complete, Buffy, could you please call the roll and make sure we're all quorumed?
And we'll make that July 13th.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
It's all Jennifer's fault. She got me thinking June.
Sorry about that.
No, it was me.
Okay, here we go. Dirk's here. Fleckner.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Riegert.
Here.
Thank you. Secor.
Here.
Siegel. Did I not see Mim? Okay. Teal.
Here.
Thank you. Cook.
Here.
Hazelton.
Here.
Karpinski.
He's not present tonight.
Okay, thank you. O'Connell.
Here.
Padden. Not here tonight. Roberts.
Here.
Wimberg.
Here.
Zegowitz.
Here.
Berlinski or Perkins here tonight? No. Dina is here for Liedberg. Rainville.
Here.
Lass. Not here.
She's on vacation.
Here.
Okay. McCrory.
Here.
Luzitis.
Here.
Fevrier.
Here.
Oh, there you are, Peter Pearson. Sorry, I'm hurrying. Anzalone. Not here. Sao.
Just
Not
me,
here.
Buffy.
Okay. No Tucker and Wolkovich Cordy is here. Okay, now we can go.
Okay, Alan, could you put up the agenda, please?
There, can you?
Okay, so yeah, as always, first up is the minutes of June, this being the actual July meeting. And in fact, there are minutes for June 1st, June 8th, and June 22nd. So if we all read all three of those, and if so, is there a motion to approve? Actually, let's do them separately because we may have to abstain differentially on our attendance. So first one, June 1st, any amendments? None appearing, I guess. Buffett, please call roll for that one.
All right, I don't have the.
Oh, so
I have
sorry.
a motion. I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
make a motion
second
to
it.
approve the June 1st minutes. Thank you.
I missed one meeting. I forget all about Robert's rules.
So June 1st, I don't have the attendance with me, so I'll ask people to remember if they were there.
Yep.
Dirks, what's up?
Yes.
Dirks, I. Fleckner, not here. Riegert.
Aye.
Secor.
Aye.
Siegel, not here. Teal.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Hazelton.
Aye.
Karpinski, not here. O'Connell.
Aye.
Padden, not here. Roberts.
Aye.
Wimberg.
Abstain.
Okay, thank you. Zegowitz.
Aye.
All right, so now we've got 1, 2, 3.
Buffy,
Yep,
did you say Fleckner not here?
I did. I'm sorry. You are here.
That's
Okay.
okay. Thank you.
And your vote for June 1st?
Aye.
Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you.
Didn't see you there, Marianne.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0, 1.
Okay, thank you. In that case, is there a motion to approve June 8th?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Nancy and Megan. Yes, absent Karpinski. Megan can vote tonight.
Yep.
So that be the case. Yeah, one more. Second time on the roll, please.
All right, so remember whether you were here that night, people. Dirks, I, Fleckner,
Aye.
Roach, Rieger, sorry,
Aye.
Secor,
Aye.
Siegel, not here. Teal,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Hazelton,
Aye.
Karpinski, not here. O'Connell,
Aye.
Hadden, not here. Roberts,
Aye.
Wimberg,
Abstain.
thank you. Zegowitz.
Aye.
All right, so this time we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0, 1 again.
Okay, and finally, June 22nd, there's a motion to approve.
So
So
move.
move.
All right, who was that?
That was Nancy on motion
I'll
and
second. I'll second.
Glenn
Okay.
second.
Nancy and Glenn. Okay, remember your attendance that night. Okay, starting off, Dirks, I, Fleckner,
Aye.
Riegert,
Aye.
Secor,
Aye.
Siegel, not here. Teal,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Hazelton,
Abstain.
thank you. Karpinski, not here. O'Connell,
Aye.
Padden, not here. Roberts,
I'm reading the notes and I don't remember something in the notes. And
okay.
so I, I guess I'll say aye.
Okay, thank you. Wimberg,
Aye.
Zegowitz.
Aye.
10, 0, 1 again.
Yeah, we just swapped, I think, Tom and I on the abstention.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. With
Wait a
that,
minute, I'm sorry. Tom, you were abstained that night too?
no,
No,
Tom voted
No.
yes. I abstained.
Yeah, I had you down for that.
I was there for most of it.
10, 0, 1.
Okay, thank you. That being the case, we can move on to the OPM report. I think, Jennifer, that would put you up on, I bet.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I'm starting to share my screen right now. I believe you are seeing my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Great, wonderful. So, good evening, everyone. I am going to share the OPM report. You'll see that later on in the minutes on the agenda, we have a PCO discussion. So I'm going to, when we get to those on the report, as I've done previously, we're going to pass by that so that we can get to the discussion. But I also want to mention, because this is a report for the month of June, and we're approaching this meeting on July 13th. So actually, there's been a lot of wonderful advancement of the construction, but these photographs are from the month of June. We've not showing the 13 days of July activity. So there's been a tremendous amount of activity on the site, many trades, as we've talked about at this point in the project. There are trades working on the interior, the exterior, the site work, etc. So the majority of all of our MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection trades are all actively working inside the building. And there is just a tremendous amount of activity going on. But in the month of June, masonry had not started yet. That is a major activity that is currently actively going on. Oops, sorry, zoomed in. We do have an update to our project budget. Ellen will be speaking to this in the financials, but so I'll pass by this. And then we have a summary of our change orders, all to date. We are at change order number 7, which is in process of signatures. The PCOs, you'll see that on tonight's agenda, we actually don't have any over $15,000 to vote on. What you're seeing summarized here are what we had a discussion on in the last meeting. So there is nothing new in this list, but we do have some that I'll be reporting on the status of the ones that we spoke about. That's coming up in the agenda when we talk about change orders, because we've had some updates to them since our discussion And then also I'll be reporting on some change orders that we have under $15,000 that have been executed. And so in terms of our project schedule, we have not changed our schedule since our last schedule update. So our new projected substantial completion date, which has not changed from last month, remains at March 31st. And so we're not tracking any additional delays. This is a very long list of activities that happened in June. As I've mentioned, it covers electrical work, ceiling work, a tremendous amount of conduit and other interior walls have begun installation, not of drywall, but of wall framing materials. Window blocking, the insulation on the interior and the exterior, ductwork, refrigerant piping, and also our roofing, and the ice and water shield, which went on underneath the roofing and underneath the masonry exterior walls, and safety railing and some temporary materials have all been installed in the month of June. And what's upcoming, which is the month of July, which many of these are actually already well underway. The mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough installation work continues. Interior metal wall studs and door frame continues. The masonry work has been a major new piece of work that's actually currently underway, but and then roofing work continues, and utility and drainage site work continue. A lot of this has to do with the fact that we're now in really the ideal construction weather season. As a report on our submittals, submittals have really slowed down because we're so far into the process. Though submittals are moving through all of the process, including any town review that needs to happen. And then 21 additional RFIs were processed in the month of June. And there were no safety incidents that happened in the month of June to report. So I'm just going to move on to some photographs. And again, these are June, so many of these are not up to date, but you can see the very beginnings of the masonry installation that happened, and some flashing that was at the very, very end of June. And then this is a photograph from, again, the very end of June, and that air vapor barrier is blue material, and then there's a lot of work happening on the roof level. And staging is all over the perimeter of the building in preparation of the masonry work. The Mary Atwood skylight was installed in the month of June. That was an exciting update. And so you can see that skylight, which has not been in use as a skylight for a long time. The beginnings of masonry work along the east facade, the driveway. You can see that work beginning to take shape there, especially with the loading of materials at that point in time. This is a roof hatch that will be an access point to their roof. And then this final image is just building progress. So there you're seeing the north elevation. It looks, there's a lot of brick on it today. So this photograph feels a little bit outdated now, even though it's actually from July 1st. So it's not very old, but it's still, there's been a tremendous amount of progress. But from here, you can see the roofing work that's underway, and this screen that will be up to shield the mechanical equipment that's up there, and the openings for windows or storefront systems. It's really clearly in place from there. I run through that pretty fast, but we are going to talk about change orders shortly, but I'd love to field any questions if people have on updates or progress.
I have a question. I have a question. The skylight, the new skylight, how's this light in the space? Is it nice?
Mark, do you want to take that question?
That skylight illuminates through the attic area, and then furthermore, the Marriott wood ceiling has a lay light which lays flat on the ceiling, which receives the light through that skylight. Currently, the lay light has plywood in the
Mm.
attic floor area to protect it during the roof construction work. So at this time, you're not really seeing the effect of the illumination.
Okay,
But at a future point in time, once all that plywood protection is removed and whatever work is completed in that area, I assume that's when we'll realize the full effect of the illumination.
okay, thanks.
It's just one note, Buffy, Mike Padden's joined at, I guess, 6:47, which means, and then I guess questions, I don't know who was first,
There
but
were, I
sorry.
see on my end, I can see Tom Wimberg was first with the next question.
Okay, I was gonna say Mary Ann, but
Oh,
okay, Tom, whatever.
I was wondering, are we going to cover the asbestos stuff later or the re resolution of the asbestos issue from the last meeting?
yes, that's coming up when we
Okay,
talk through that.
great, thank you.
And
Mary Ann,
Marianne,
Yeah, thank you very much. Jennifer, I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing it correctly. In your report and work that was done in that list, what is rock wool? Was I reading that correctly?
you are reading that.
Mhm.
It is a type of insulation. I believe that's actually a brand name, but
Oh,
it is a type of insulation. And it's it is sort of sometimes we talk about fiberglass insulation. This is a different type of material that the insulation is made of.
hmm. All right, thank you.
And Leah, could you, if you could come off mute, Leah, um, what are some of the locations of the rock wool installation? You're in the project.
So where it's been installed to date, trying to think if it's made it because this shift between June and July is a little fuzzy in my head, but where it primarily is between the exterior stud cavities. So our exterior wall has two different types of insulation on it in order to help achieve the thermal performance that we need to for this level of building. So there's this batt insulation that's the rock wool mineral wool, and that is squished in between the exterior studs. And then there is a rigid foam insulation that goes on the exterior of the building. And that's all going in as the brickwork goes up.
I don't see any more hands, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any.
I'll ask one
Oh,
then.
there we go, Jim. Okay.
Just wanted to see. Is there any way to enlarge that image of the skylight?
Oh, yep.
I'm really
Hold
curious
on.
about the what I'm actually seeing there. My computer's kind of small, but okay. It looks like there's a we're on the east side of it or something. Looking at it, almost looks like
Correct.
there's a ridge driving in directly below the curb. Looks really tight. What's going on that? What is going on top of that roof? Is that do we have, yeah, right there. Do we have slate or tile or is that just
Synthetic slate shingles is the finish on that roof.
do we have any room there?
Um,
I mean, it looks like I can't even stick my finger under that ridge to the underside of the curb.
we'll take a closer
We'll
look at
take
that,
a peek
Jim.
at it, right? Yeah, okay. Right. I mean, there will be some other flashing going on there. I'm assuming a couple of with the slate, and you'll have some other types of flashing
Yep.
lifting up and under the curb. And I mean, I think we want at the top. There's going to be a cap, right? Is it real slate or is it going to be? Is it the poly slate?
It's synthetic. It's an EcoStar product.
Yeah. So there'll be actually be a preformed shingle or piece at the top, right? That'll act as a cap. I'm just looking at that, hoping everything fits underneath that. And I hope it's just like maybe that bright band that I'm seeing, maybe that's a something in the back that will receive some of this flashing, but man, that looks tight. Water, water,
Um,
water.
yeah, absolutely. We will take a closer look at that to make sure that we get all of those components where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, that you see how you got like looks like a 3-inch step between the regular pitched roof and the underside of the curb. That seems pretty normal, right? You're gonna want to see a little bit of the flashing. You
Yeah.
want it to all that kind of stuff. Have a little build up space, but okay, that's it. That's all. I'm just looking carefully.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Some of this was that it we didn't have access to this condition for a while. But now that we do, we can definitely take that closer look at it. And I'm going to make a note right now.
One of the quickies since I got you. On the right-hand side, it looks like where the ridge of the skylight comes down, almost looks like there's two pieces of extrusion or aluminum, whatever it is, going from the vertical curb towards the glass. And then you get to the middle, looks like there's one, nope, along the lower edge. Yeah,
Yeah,
right
I see
there's
it.
maybe an inch, maybe there's a piece and a half. And then you get to the other side and it looks like there's almost two pieces. Is it me or is it my eyes or am I looking at like 8 inches of aluminum or whatever exposed on the right, six on the middle, seven on the left?
I see what you're saying. I'm not sure. It could be an angle of the photo thing, but we'll
Mm,
look at that. But I do see what you're saying.
mm. Okay, thank you.
Jean?
Yeah, I agree with Jim. It does look funny construction. But I'm wondering also, I know that this is, you said it's attic space behind here. Will they be finishing the structure that you see through the glass?
So we're essentially building a little light well, for lack of a better term. So it will actually bring that control the light down from the skylight into the lay light. So there will be finished drywall on that surface. So what you would see up through that skylight, or up through the lay light within the Mary Atwood space, um, if you could see through that, you would be seeing finished drywall all your way up until you got to the skylight. Does that answer your question?
So the structure that we see on the right side, the wooden structure, is going to be covered with drywall.
Yes.
Okay.
This here.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to? Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks.
Yeah, looking at it, Joe, I think there is an angle. If you look at the left-hand side, the angle of the skylight versus the roof it's not a dead-on shot, so it may be that
Yeah,
we are seeing
some sort
angle,
of
but yeah,
parallax.
worth checking certainly.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with that, right? That's
Oh yeah,
water, water, water,
yep. Oh yeah.
and it's well, that is something I think we all voted to spend a little extra money on, and we want to see that thing come in molto bene, right? That's got to be really nice, really, really nice. It's a great feature of the building, and I will be extremely saddened to see if that thing starts weeping on us.
It's also a feature that the CPC is buying, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to want to be sure that it is
Correct.
not seeping as well.
No seeping, no weeping.
Jim, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but I think probably the early part of July, I was just coming back from vacation, but there was one day where the job site we were getting torrential rain all day, and I wasn't on site when they installed the skylights. So, like you, I was very curious, and I kind of crawled up there just to check it out, and I saw that there was no water coming in anywhere near that skylight. So I'm not speaking to what might happen in the future, but I can tell you initially we had a significant rain event, and there was no rain or no moisture coming in through any of the skylight areas from what I could observe at that time.
Appreciate that. Just we've had some other nice installations go a little sour shortly after occupancy, and we don't want to. Oh, hey, let me put my hand down. We don't need to. Definitely don't want to go through that again. This is too nice a feature to It just looks wonky to me, so my eyes start popping out, wondering what the heck's going on.
Understood.
I wanted to mention one other piece about the skylight since we're on it. I think you may see this in the later on in the minutes as we discuss financing. But as Jean had mentioned, the skylight, the Mary Atwood skylight, was a separate CPC grant, and so this work is being sort of pulled aside in terms of a financial tracking of it, and we are, so that we can be compliant with that grant.
That
We're going,
present means that we're on budget with it.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Are you raising hand again, Jim, or are you?
Yeah, just no, pain in the ass. The looking at the left-hand side of where the skylight hit, looks to me like that continues a hip in the onto the left side. Is that correct? Right there. And, there's a hip that runs up covered with ice and water shield, and then there's like a looks to me like a lap of the blue stuff. What's the difference? What am I looking at there? What do I got blue versus the Certainty ice and water?
Yeah, so that's a question that we've asked too when we noticed that, Jim. So the ice and water is the final installation. That blue stuff is temporary while they're working around in that area. And we are keeping an eye on that, and Hutter and the subcontractor are going to make sure that that blue stuff is either removed or replaced as necessary so that it is all that ice and water product
Right,
along
yeah,
that
thank you.
edge.
Hey, Jimmy, your new nickname is Eagle Eyes.
Yeah. Maybe I need a new prescription. I don't know.
Any additional questions?
No, other than thank goodness you are all asking these questions because I'm staring at it and saying, wow, that's amazing that you can see all that.
I think it comes from typically with construction, a lot of your experience comes from problems. Sometimes it's more, you learn a lot more from a previous failure than you did a previous success.
I was going to say architects are constantly finding the problems, not the joy until it's finished.
I'm going to stop sharing this, and I can turn this back over to our agenda. I think Ellen and I will continue to speak, though, together as we approach the next few items.
Yes, so I will just share the next thing in your packet are the payment requests per the building consultants from the Board of Library Commissioners. I was instructed to request disbursement number 4 in the total amount of $1,570,399 and a partial disbursement of number 5, $1 million. That leaves just $570,399 to come to us in the spring of 2027. I will just continue to say that the escalation grant of $829,000 and change is a separate contract that will be enacted probably in June of 2027 at the completion of the project. So the Board of Library Commissioners, is working to get these funds. There are about 3 projects from the 2016 grant round, maybe 4 still in play: Deerfield, Westford, Jones Library, and Amherst. And now they're hard at work on their small library construction project grants that they just did a grant round specifically for communities with small populations, which have a completely different type of challenge in restoring, renovating, or building a new library. So that has been requested, and just so you know, the wire transfers have come in. And
So there's no vote required there, right? That's all on you.
beg pardon?
There's no vote required there, right? That just happens. There's no vote required from us for disbursements.
No,
Okay.
this is
Just
no,
want
you'll
to
see
make
it.
sure we're honest. It's all okay. Good.
Right. You'll see it reflected when we look at the budget. And then all of the furnishing purchase orders have been sent out. And so that was, $1.9 million, I believe, that was approved by the select board and by yourself. So that is underway, and that's a big piece of work. And so that was really exciting. And I'll give it back. Well, I'll take questions if there are any. Otherwise, we can look at the warrant and the single journal entry. And I do need to note that number 4I, Wakefield Arms, there actually is a corrected warrant cover sheet. The warrant, the bill for June 1st through June 30th did correctly come. So when you vote on this warrant, it's the same amount of money, but we've occasionally had to track with Wakefield Arms to be sure that they send us the right month bill. So that is correct. And when I send the warrant to Mike Padden to sign tomorrow, that will be correct.
So what's the deal with journal entries? Is that a separate vote?
So a journal entry, in the case of this project, they've almost always been either legal costs or a public advertising costs, almost exclusively. What happens is those are paid, the town manager's budget, I should say, is billed, and they may have a 12 or 16 page bill, and part of it is for highway, part of it is for facilities, part of it is for some other department. So in this case, we had legal costs having to do with the AV procurement process. And so you won't see a bill, but I send to the town accountant a special form telling him, advising him to post this amount against my budget and remove it from the town manager's budget. It's been a
But we'll
year.
do one vote for items A through I and a separate vote for J, correct?
Yes, we need to go all the way A through J.
Okay. So the first motion, I believe, is to approve the warrants, invoices, and payments / transfers totaling $1,631,768.87 as indicated in items A through I in the agenda document. Is there such a motion?
Moved.
So Glenn made the motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
Mary Ann, I think, is a second. So Buffy, please call the roll.
Yep. Dirks, I. Fleckner.
Aye.
Riegert.
Aye.
Secor.
Aye.
Siegel not here. Teal.
I am here
Oh.
now.
All
I
right.
called in at 6:41 and
Thank you.
sorry about that. I texted you and sorry, late.
Okay. 6:41.
Here and I.
Okay. Thank you. And Teal.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Hazelton.
Aye.
Karpinski not here. O'Connell.
Aye.
Padden.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Wimberg.
Aye.
Zegowitz.
Aye.
1, 2, 3.
You know, it's not now for you, but it is for me. That is the hard. Sorry.
Okay, the final count on that was 1300.
Great. We are getting people. The next up would be to approve the journal entry of $1,102.50 in legal costs. Is there a motion?
So
to approve?
moved.
Nancy made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Megan is a second. So one more time on the roll, please.
Yep. Dirks, I. Fleck.
Aye.
Riegert.
Aye.
Secor.
Aye.
Siegel.
Aye.
Teal.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Hazelton.
Aye.
Karpinski. Oh, sorry. Karpinski not here. O'Connell.
Aye.
Hadden,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Wimberg,
Aye.
Segowitz,
Aye.
13-0-0.
Thank you. I guess change orders, that would be, is that Ellen or is that Jennifer?
I think maybe
Oh,
Jennifer
yep.
can speak.
Yes, thank you. So our next topic is proposed change orders over $15,000 for vote. I wanted to mention that there are none that we're requesting a vote for. However, at our last meeting, this was our major topic of discussion, and so I believed it was worthy of some updates on it with some of the items that we discussed at our last meeting. So our first item, so I'm happy to take questions. We're not soliciting any, there's no need for a vote from the Joint Committee tonight. The first item is PCO 39, which was for the interior tile and accessory scope. We had this on this one. I was for a value of $21,966. There were some open questions from the Joint Committee. We are still taking these under review. We are working to essentially we're questioning costs on this. So we are not ready to recommend for any vote of approval for this. We're working through this with them, and in some instances, we're disputing some costs that have been raised by the um, subcontractor.
Do I do all the
The
questions now or do I do them at the end, Jennifer? Because I got one from
I think it
Jim.
might be easier to go through these item by item because they're very different topics.
Okay.
So if
So
there's some questions on the tile item,
I
Yeah.
think Jim
So
has a question.
yeah, I was just gonna say, and I think it'd probably be more expeditious if we could get the questions listed on a per item basis rather than wait at the end because there'll be a million questions, right? So one of the questions is, are just in general, we're going to get the answers to the questions that we had last time, and my next one would be for the tile. Could we get a square footage amount of what this change order represents? I think it'll be easier for everybody to understand what we're talking about if we have a dollars to square foot kind of thing.
I can get that for us at our next meeting. I don't have that
Yeah.
available.
Right. No, I'm okay. And all these I'm assuming will be,
Yep.
to be answered in the future, if
Mhm.
not already done today. Thank you.
Any other
Um,
questions? Okay.
the next item on this list, which I think is at the top of the next page, is was on PCO number 59. This was on some plywood roof replacement and truss treatment, which related to mold remediation. I wanted to inform the Joint Committee that you approved a not to exceed value of $42,695. We did work with the vendor in negotiating that scope of work, and we also worked with the hazardous materials abatement consultant who is from a company called UEC, United Environmental Consultants, to go through the proposed systems. And we did land at a final number of $27,530 for that. So it was a reduction of what the value that you approved, but we were able to negotiate that number down while still keeping the scope of work that we discussed.
Nice.
Any questions on that topic? So the last item is on PCO number 82, which is essentially the asbestos remediation topic that we talked about last time. In this group, you approved a not to exceed value of $18,000. This is a topic that I think there were a lot of open questions on. I wanted to say that we have not settled on a final number for this. There were some questions about this that came through. Actually, I'm just looking through my questions from the last meeting. I realized the first question I had is actually on the PCO 59. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to that for a moment. Jean, you asked a question of our abatement consultant. Was mold on the trusses a common occurrence? And he said yes, it is a common occurrence, and so that is why he was not surprised to see this. Um, and um, um, and the other question you had is if the contractor had potentially caused this by not preparing or enclosing the building adequately over the winter. And our consultant felt that that was actually not um, not related to this. They felt that actually it had a lot to do with the movement of the sort of the opening the construction probably had a more beneficial effect to this because air was moving through there, and that they believed that this work was in the mold had been in place and just hidden away, and the fact that there had really been a stagnation of air prior, which had allowed the mold to grow.
Great, thank you. And very good response. Thank you.
Thank you. Apologize. I put my notes in the wrong order here. So then when we were speaking about, I'm going to go back to PCO 82 on the asbestos remediation. There were a few different questions that had been asked about this. One was about if we did have a required notification to the state on this, and there was a required notification. So that notification has gone into the state, and with the mandatory waiting period, and that process has happened. So no other additional regulatory filing was needed, but there was some specific for this. I can't recall who asked that question. I think it may have been Mike Patton. Um, um, and just going through to make sure. Leah, I'd love it if you could um, speak to the update of PCO 82 and the progress we are right now with um, the fastening. That was some open questions that we had.
Um, sure. So from this committee and some other reviews that we've had with members of the town, Mike Gerberd's and Chris Karpinski, there were questions about how the copper flashing would get fastened and whether there could potentially be different materials that could perform better in this location or not. So a few options have been drawn up and shared with Mike and Chris. They have not been reviewed together as a group yet, so we do not have final direction on which way they would like to proceed. Each one does have cost and schedule impacts depending on the solution and the material. And so we're still working through which way. I can outline briefly for this group. The three primary options that we are looking at currently are the copper as originally detailed, copper with a granite curb in front of the copper at the patio level in order to help protect that base, particularly from shovels or other things that could hit at the lowest portion, and looking at a masonry solution similar to the rest of the building are the three that are currently being evaluated.
Jim? You're
You're
on
on mute,
mute,
Jim.
Jim.
I bet he didn't put his hand down.
Oh hell no! I'm yakking away with the mute on. We're talking about the detail at the top of the insulation, right? Is that always going to be right at the ground at grade level?
So
Excuse me.
So this is on the church side. Grade level is lower in the new building than in the existing condition or the prior condition. So it is above it is above finished grade for
Okay,
a few
so
feet.
well, I guess what I was hoping to see is what these details were going to look like. Is that possible that when we say Mike and Chris that we get a look at them, or how's this all going to work? Um,
Yeah, we
we did
can,
decide at the very least we did decide we're not going in there and ripping up the insulation, right? That's all going to stay.
correct.
Nobody's touching that. No need to fool around with any of that. Now it's just a matter of how to detail the design work such that it will stand up or
Yes.
stand out, I guess, against any lateral forces and remain strong over top of that thing. Correct?
Yes, that's
Something like that?
exactly
Yeah.
correct. We're leaving the insulation in place, and the solutions are all different options for how to work best with that existing insulation in both an aesthetic solution, a cost-effective solution, and a durability solution, and also for us, the thickness, because the thickness varies fairly considerably from one solution to the next. As
Yeah.
far as reviewing those details, um, I don't know if Jennifer can speak more to this as far as how and when Chris and Mike will bring the rest of the group into the conversation, but I would at least like to have their feedback first before it gets shared any more broadly.
Okay. Thank you.
I wanted to share, I think there were two other questions that were asked of us at the last meeting. One of them was if if we were to encapsulate this solution, was the copper flashing above grade and the earthwork below grade a legally sufficient encapsulation? And that is correct. There is no DEP approval or special documentation needed for that. That is the pathway we were, as the committee was voting towards, but I wanted to confirm that our hazardous materials consultant has confirmed that. Um, and um, and that disturbance was a word we were talking back and forth about. If we did any scraping or coring or demolishing of that material, that would be considered a disturbance that requires abatement. But if it is just simply exposed but untouched, it does not have any action required by either the EPA, the DLS, or the DEP. So all of the agencies who would have been um, uh, overseeing this work. We are, as we discussed, we're taking an encapsulation approach, but those questions were asked of us, and I wanted to confirm those responses with you. And then also, we did speak about the east side of the building, on which sometimes we refer to as the driveway side of the building. And so we don't believe any abatement will be required there. And the ACM that is present will be staying subgrade and covered by the new sidewalk and the insulation. So, and there are no penetrations planned through that would additionally require abatement.
So in terms of last meeting, then A and C is still pending and B is resolved at a lower cost than we get approved, correct?
Correct.
Any other questions, or can we move on to item B? I take that as move on to item B.
Um, so I am just going to give a reporting out. We had 6 different change orders that were all for a value under $15,000. They are for 3 of them are for very different topics. Chase wall, electrical equipment installation or electrical conduit installation, and then also some revisions to the wall and door at room 118. Those are all change orders that were approved. And then we proposed change orders that were approved by Mike and Chris, with the recommendation from Feingold and CHA. And then we had 3 change orders that were related to the MEP coordination drawing scope, different areas of the building. So these 6 change orders have been approved by Mike and Chris, and so they have been I'm happy to answer questions, but if I can just complete one thought, if you were to look at the next section, which is item C, which is a summary of our change orders. So as to remind everyone, we collect proposed change orders that were approved during that month, and we combine them into one change order. These proposed change orders within the month of June, there's a series of them. They create change order number 7, which had a very large total, but it's from a series of change orders that have been approved either by joint committee or they were under the $15,000 value. And so there is some that were talked about at previous meetings. So you'll see the listing of them in change order 7 is PCO 17, 24, 35, 42, 43, 51, 59, 73, 74, and 75. So it is a collection of different change orders. So I am happy to answer further questions about any of the 6 change orders that were approved, or anything related to 6 proposed change orders, or on change order 7.
So,
Jean?
thanks. I'm looking at these 6 items under $15,000, and I see 3 coordination drawings, which equal $36,000. Why were they separate, and why are they not base scope work?
They are for very different pieces of the coordination. And so what you may or may not be aware of, I'm not sure if this has been discussed with the joint committee prior, but we own coordination for various trades. So multiple trades, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, have to perform coordination, BIM coordination, and prepare coordination drawings. That process, I believe, and Leah, correct me if I'm wrong, but that process has, for the coordination drawings, has essentially been completed at this point in time, as they're now installing everything. But the various trades ended up working with one particular majority of them worked with one vendor. However, it was through different subcontractors. So the mechanical contractor paid that vendor, the electrical contractor paid that vendor, plumbing contractor paid that vendor. So they are different contracts with the coordination company. These were all related to items that were from bulletins. So these are items that were revised and added scope that the coordination project required. And it all happened, the coordination effort, we went back and forth with them quite a bit of time. The coordination effort for this project started in 2025, and this process went back and forth with them for many, many months. And these particular changes are related to substantial changes to different trades that happened in bulletins that were issued.
Wow, I've never seen anyone ask for coordination drawing fees this late in the project. It's usually, it should be part of their base scope. If it's not an additional service, it should be base scope. If it's an additional service to them, then it should be included in their additional service. So I'm really surprised that this was approved.
Second,
Yeah, me too.
it's just, yeah, it just seems like the building's open for a long time, and I don't know. the coordination part. I'm with Gene. I never heard of a separate coordination contract to make sure that your subs can put their materials into the building without conflict with each other. Seems that's something like a team meeting.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Good. Let's hear it, Mike.
Well,
Don't do a ton of these ones with giant systems and small places, but just
yeah, the only reason I'd say it depends on what the issue is. If the change shouldn't be related to performing the scope of coordination, but if, for example, I'm not saying this is the case, you physically cannot fit your work where it was designed, and you have to, let's say, change a duct size, increase, add the piping run to get around a beam, there could potentially be a cost to a sub that would be legitimate based on design. So I guess we could just ask for clarification. Do we know what these specific changes were for?
So there were a few different things, as Jennifer said, that's why they are broken into a few pieces because there were a couple of them. Some of it was kind of what you were describing, Mike, in that there were systems that had been laid out, and as they started modeling all of the systems together, it was determined that those parts and pieces didn't actually fit within the parameters that we had in the existing building. And so there was redesign, remodeling that needed to occur. After they had done their initial coordination effort. So to Jean's point, to Jim's point, yes, coordination was owned in the project, but there were efforts that were above and beyond. Also, typically, the coordination effort was planned by the subs for a certain number of meetings and a duration of months, and the process for this building ended up taking almost twice as long as what had been intended, which is where some of the additional costs were coming from. And there were also some conditions, particularly related to the existing building, where some of the steel members were not where we originally intended them to be, where some of the masonry walls were in a different condition than we anticipated them to be. So there was some rework that needed to happen because of field conditions with that new work. So it's kind of the three buckets, which is why this was broken up
So when
that
these
way.
PCOs come in, it would be really useful, I think, if there was like a little, like in parentheses, like UC, unforeseen conditions, so that we can understand that these were found things that we had to be changed because of the unforeseen conditions. Otherwise, it feels like, the money is being spent without good oversight. I think we want to be sure that there's good oversight.
So Jean, to that point, I actually think I could moving forward, I could help to perhaps add to either maybe it's on this page, or maybe it's sort of an amendment to it. But what we are doing for the town is that every time there is a PCO, we prepare a summary of what the name of the PCO is, the cost, and then an issue. Is it a design change? Is it a error or an omission? Is it a client requested change? We have a category for all of these items, and then we list out the history of it. And so we have been maintaining that. I have one file that has the entire running log because I do believe at the end of a project, it's very difficult to remember what happened on PCO 17 or something of that nature. So we have a log and we're collecting that. It's something that Mike Edwards specifically requested. So it's not just an Excel chart. We do have these in an Excel log, but we have a text-based log that has each one summarized with the dates when it occurred, but also a bit of the history of what happened with it. So, a shorthand of 3 or 4 sentences that if questions come up. And that is part of what, when we send everything to Kristen for signature, that summary is also included as a cover letter. In addition, Feingold does prepare a letter with their analysis and their recommendation, but we have a running log. And so, Jean, moving forward, I would be happy to um, add that. Maybe it's more appropriate at the sort of somewhere in this in the agenda towards the end, so it doesn't sort of cloud up the agenda, but as a reference point for the joint committee.
Yeah, I think because we're in charge of fiscal responsibility for this project, so we need to understand, not just our two reps to the
Yep.
OAC committees, but thank you.
We don't want to diminish that. And essentially what Mike and Chris and Leah and I have discussed is that I think our initial concern might be if there was an audit. Memories of these things might need to go back months, or if the audit could be a year from now. So we are keeping that sort of as a nice, clear summary, as well as there is just as is typical with most of these projects, there's an Excel spreadsheet that sort of has a calculated log, but I do believe this other text summary is closer to what you're looking for, Jean.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy, your hand was up and now it's down. Did you change your mind? Or?
I know, I keep wondering, Jennifer, could we get the explanation of what those, rather than just, I was going to ask to table these three until we got explanations of exactly what they were. But could you send them to us so we would actually know what we're voting to approve?
So in this instance, we are not seeking a vote, but we can. So moving on next month, I could include, as Ellen and I prepare this agenda, perhaps towards the. I'm just looking at our agenda for tonight. It could be maybe there's a she has an attachments section to this agenda.
Exactly.
I could attach it to that so that you have a log, and it's maybe 2 or 3 sentences for each one of these topics.
Okay. It just seems like we're late in the day, and I know this has been hashed over to see this. So as long as you're going to put it on, and you'll include these on the next agenda.
Actually, if you could get these to Ellen, she could attach to the minutes of this meeting, right?
Yes. But yes, I could attach these to give these to Ellen so that they could be attached to the minutes of this meeting.
I mean, they've already been approved, right, by Kristen and Mike, so there's no action to take. So it really belongs attached to this agenda.
There's a simple, I think in this instance, it's a 2-page, maybe it's a 3-page cover letter that we gave to Kristen for the signature, and it's got each of these spelled out as a simple written summary of each one. So I can send that to Ellen, and it could be attached for the minutes for this meeting.
I think that'd be a lot more transparent to the community too, to the degree that people actually read all the detail. To see that, know that there was background material would be helpful, I think. But it belongs with this document, not next month.
Perfect. And then you'll see it in those draft minutes that you approve August 10th.
Okay.
Thank you, Ellen.
And so moving forward, I think that's a simple change we can make also. So in our next meeting, we'll just include that moving forward.
Thanks.
And I'll expand the attachments list, at the very bottom of the agenda.
So I think that takes us to old business, which would be a transfer, which I presume is Eleanor or Jennifer that wants to speak to that one.
Well, maybe I'll speak to this because this is really a housekeeping issue. The Joint Committee voted to transfer $4,500 from the contingency fund for commissioning, and this was really 16 months ago in March of 2025. But at that point, I'm sorry, you didn't vote to move money from contingency. You only voted to approve additional funding. So I'm just asking you, because I can't make our accounts match your votes otherwise. If you'll just vote tonight to move the $4,500 from the contingency fund, and you'll see when we go down to the next page that and look at the printout of the contingency budget in my posting accounts, I've already moved it. This is really just so that there's always, for every vote you've taken, I am recording the date of the vote and whether it's a transfer or whether it's an executed purchase, an executed change order, and then it's really matching your minutes. So if someone would move that, that would be a helpful little item that needs to be addressed.
I should do what the moderator does, to say that's the chairman's job. Just kidding. Is there a motion to approve the transfer?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Did Mary Ann have a question?
Yeah, thank you. Just, is it really 2025? And that's not a typo, so that is.
It's not a typo.
Okay, thank you.
So this additional funding was approved truly before we begin the process, or you begin the process of approving money as a transfer. So this will clean up, what I've been holding in my accounts as a small orphaned vote with no transfer to put it in,
Okay.
in the contingency, take it out of the contingency. So,
Thank
and
you.
the next item is a report, the CPA
Do we have to
grant.
vote
Oh,
on
I'm
any?
so sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. So we've got a motion from Nancy, I believe. We need a second.
I will
I'll
second it.
Oh, Buffy, you take it.
Okay. Here's the voting then. Dirks, aye. Fleckner,
Aye.
Riegert,
I'm just checking if I can vote on this, if it was something from that long ago before I was a trustee.
Ellen,
I think
thoughts
you
on
can
that?
vote on it now. It's a
Yeah, I
current
don't
motion.
see why not. You can You're on the vote. committee now, voting on an active issue.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
you
Aye.
can vote.
Okay, thank you, Dana. Secor,
Aye.
Siegel,
Aye.
Teal,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Hazelton,
Aye.
Karpinski not here, O'Connell,
Aye.
Hadden,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Wimberg,
Aye.
Zegowitz,
Aye.
13-0-0.
So under B, I will just remind you that the CPC grant was awarded for $60,000 for the skylight. The total cost of the skylight will exceed that sum, but the first pay rec to Hutter for $57,000 has been submitted to the CPC commission, and the town accountant is putting through the purchase order and the payment for that amount. And again, that, as we'll see when we scroll down and look at the current budget, that is not coming out of the bond or out of the Board of Library Commissioner grants. Then I'll just ask if you'll approve the May Amplifund report. Then I'll scroll down and go over the budget with you, which is up to date as of the end of FY26.
So is there a motion to approve the Amplifund report of May 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Glenn and Jean, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay, the voting is Dirks, aye. Fleckner,
Aye.
Riegert,
Aye.
Secor,
Aye.
Siegel,
Aye.
Teal,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Hazelton,
Aye.
Karpinski not here, O'Connell,
Aye.
Hadden,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Wimberg,
Aye.
Zegowitz.
Aye.
Thank you. And it passed 13-0-0.
So maybe
thank
I'll
you.
just also report, because of the July 4th holiday, and year-end, fiscal year-end closure, trust fund and grant fund interest, was only received today. So at your August 10th meeting, I'll be able to share, an update on the aggregated interest because we've received payment disbursement number 4 and $1 million of disbursement number 5. This fund will be earning a little bit more interest. Actually, in April and May, there was almost no interest earning at all, but that won't be the case going forward. And now I'll see if I can make this big enough for you to see. So I just want to share some highlights. This is the summary page from the account posting for the project. In the very right-hand column is the warrant you approved tonight and the journal entry. You see that little JE in the right-hand column. The contingency budget, as you have now approved transfers and executed change orders, we are now spending 18.21% of the contingency budget. Your last meeting on June 1st, a total meeting with minutes and a budget, you had spent 11.96% of the contingency fund. If we look at the offsets below, to date now, we are saving $10.4 million for the taxpayer. As of June 25th, we've received 92.7% of the total Board of Library Commissioners construction grant. Again, the escalation grant will strike in summer of 2027. The foundation has raised almost $1.2 million. We have a legislative earmark that will be executed in the fall. We have an aggregated interest of almost $156,000 that can be spent on the grant, the $60,000 from CPA, and then there are mass save incentives, one that strikes at completion and one that is a year post occupancy based on performance. So at this point, the revised taxpayer total is $22.12 million. And if you want, I'll rapidly scroll down and just show you the contingency page. I just think that's helpful because I think the reminder that the contingency is both, here we go, it's both what you've transferred and it's your change orders. So this particular page, and you can see again, you've spent 18.21% of your contingency budget. So you can see in the third column whether it's a transfer that you voted on and the meeting date you voted it in, or whether it's an executed change order and that amount has been transferred into Hutter, the contractor's budget, out of contingency and into the contractor's budget. So at this point, we have we have a balance of 3.215 in the contingency budget. Oh, I'm just checking my notes here. So let me go back up to the agenda.
Any questions for Ellen? Because I've got one on the upcoming meeting dates. Why is it August 10th, not August 3rd?
So this actually, I'm afraid that your summer meeting dates are completely driven by deadlines that the library department has and the trustees have. So we have a special state report due on August 14th, and it's a statistical report to the Board of Library Commissioners. actually, every public library in the United States provides this report. And the truth is, it's not completed by the end of July, so we need to have a later August meeting in order to get that completed report in front of the trustees for their approval. So they'll approve it on the 10th and it will be due on the 14th. Would you like your meeting to be on the 3rd?
No. We usually did the first Monday, and I think for September that becomes Labor Day. So I get the 14th because it's a holiday, but
No,
August.
this is all about what,
Okay.
yeah, our summer meetings are really driven by some critical deadlines for material due to the Board of Library Commissioners.
Were we talking about the difference between the August 10th and August 3rd, or September 14th and
August
September
10th.
7th?
I think
August
that
10th.
is
So,
where we want to be.
okay. Well, I was going to say that we could certainly do August 3rd for the joint meeting, if that's better for the
I don't
joint
care. I'm just making
for
sure
the
that I
permanent
know we'd
town
had an
building
issue
committee.
with we had to have a meeting in late June because we had delayed our July meeting to the second Monday. So that's why I make sure we aren't doing the same thing again, that we require another meeting in July to handle on August 10th. But as long as we're clean with August 10th, I don't care. So that's fine. Just wanted to ask.
Okay. All right, Ellen, I'm just curious though, when is the ARIS report? Is that August or September?
It's due August 14th.
It's August. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's why we're meeting late for August. And
exactly.
And September is because of Labor Day.
Right. September is because
Yeah.
of Labor Day, and the
Okay.
ARIS report is August.
Okay.
If there's no other questions, we get to vote to adjourn. Are there any other questions?
God, I have
So
one thing.
moved.
So Jim has motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
No, that was
Scott.
my motion to adjourn.
I just have one thing before we leave. It's for the committee. We need to just put on an agenda and have a meeting to vote for Megan to take my place on the Robinson Building Committee. And then the select board can officially do that. So we can actually have two members.
Okay, well, we have to do that either on a separate PTBC meeting that's quick and dirty and in and out in 10 minutes.
We can do that.
August 10th. We can't do it tonight because it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, and I know that. And the next select board meeting, I think, is tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So what's the next select board meeting after that? The next month?
28th.
Why don't we schedule something before the 28th and we'll just get it done.
Well, you are the chair, so you can call the meeting on
can
next Monday if you
tell
want.
us.
Yeah, I'll reach out. We'll set something up. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up.
Good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll be happy to have Megan aboard.
So we have a motion adjourned. We had a motion adjourned, and we had a second too, right?
We do now,
We did.
second.
Okay, so all in favor, I guess it's call the roll because we always do.
Okay, can you tell me who made a motion and who seconded?
I made it.
Okay,
Nancy seconded it.
all right. Here we go. Dirks, aye. Fleckner,
I
Riegert,
Aye.
Secor,
Aye.
Siegel,
Aye.
Teal,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Hazelton,
Aye.
Karpinski. Absent. O'Connell,
Aye.
Padden,
All right.
Roberts,
Aye.
Wimberg,
Aye.
Zegowitz.
Aye.
1300, and we adjourned at 7:52.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you,
all.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.